Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call this meeting of the County Commissioners to order. If we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if we could remain standing for just a moment of silence. Thankfully, we have nothing to highlight that's taken place locally, but there's enough death and carnage going on across the world that we can certainly find something to have a moment of silence for. Thank you very much. Meeting announcements. Today is a legislative day, and time will be allotted at the end of each meeting for the commissioners to receive comments from the public. First, we have a public notice here. I'll read real quick. Says notice, application has been made by Christopher J. Golder, member, representing Shore Hospitality LLC, for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with caterer's privilege, CP, and corkage privilege, CKP, on the premises known as Flying Decoy Bar and Grill, 21270 Rock Hall Road, Rock Hall, Maryland, 21661, which shall authorize the holder thereof to keep for sale and to sell beer, wine, and liquor at the place therein described for on-premises consumption or elsewhere. A hearing on the application will be held in the County Commissioners Hearing Room, R. Clayton Mitchell Jr., Government Center, 400 High Street, Chestertown, Maryland, on February the 27th, 2024 at 10 o'clock a.m., at which time any exceptions to the application will be heard. By order of the Board of Licensed Commissioners for Kent County, Maryland, Sandra M. Blackston, Clerk/Kate Manager, published in the Kent County News on 2/8/24 and 2/15/24. And just to clarify everything, that is the old, what was known as the Beowulf Restaurant in Rock Hall has changed hands. That's the new name that's applying for their liquor license. That's some consent items. We have the regular session minutes dated January 30th, 2024. We have the liquor minutes dated January 30th, 2024. Closed session minutes dated January the 30th, 2024. Have Republicans of Kent raffle only, February the 17th, 2024, and Mike Moles, Director of Public Works, Environmental Operations Division, Public Landings Board reappointments. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Then we have a special Class C license, a request for a special Class C license for Timothy Kern Memorial Fund. It will be beer only, dated March the 23rd, 2024. And because it is a alcohol application, it's in need of a public hearing. We will allow today to be considered that public hearing. So if anyone in the audience would like to comment for or against this application, feel free to do so at this time. There being no one, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the special Class C per diem liquor license application for the Timothy Kern Memorial Fund.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. I need a motion, I guess, to go into legislative session.
I'll make a motion that we go into legislative session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are in legislative session. Tom Yeager, our county attorney.
Yes, Mr. President. You have three matters before you tonight. There are three pieces of legislation, and each one is in a different stage. One is up for a vote tonight, the other is up for a public hearing, and the third is up for introduction. With respect to the vote, you have CHR 6/2023. This is zoning text amendment, adaptive reuse of existing structures. You've already had a public hearing on that, and the time to make comments after the public hearing has expired. So this evening, you would be voting on that piece of legislation. The matter for public hearing tonight is CHR 1/2024. This is for property tax credits in commerce zones, dealing with the non-transferability and the expiration of those credits. And that is just for public hearing where you take comments. You're not going to be voting on that tonight. And the third matter before you is CHR 2/2024, and this would be the introduction of the land use ordinance that you're required to do as part of your comprehensive plan. It's your comprehensive rezoning. So that is before you tonight for introduction. If you wish to go forward with that, then you would direct the clerk to schedule it for a public hearing. So I believe that Mr. Mackey is here tonight, and I see him over there, and he can give you more information with respect to the introduction of the land use ordinance.
Tom, how about if we take them a little different order? Maybe we take Bill and we'll talk about the land use ordinance first.
You can
We'll do
certainly, that's the chair's prerogative, you can certainly do that.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mackey.
The item before you, Code Home Rule Bill 2-2024, is the introduction of the proposed land use ordinance. On August 1st, this body transmitted a copy of a proposed draft land use ordinance for review and recommendation by the Agricultural Advisory Commission and the Kent County Planning Commission. Those bodies spent most of the autumn reviewing that and have presented recommendations to you at your meeting last week. You received those recommendations, and those recommendations were formally made by your Planning Commission on January 4th. This item is presented for introduction. We had a work session earlier today, and we walked through in detail that document. And per your instructions, that the document that's in this agenda has also been posted on the county's comprehensive rezoning website. The PowerPoint presentation that we walked through the work session is also posted there, along with my script that I pretty much stuck to. And then there's two memorandums, one from both to the Planning Commission a little earlier in the process, but the one summarizes all of the information in the document, and the other one talks about major changes from September. And staff recommends approval in order to schedule a public hearing.
Very good. Now I'll entertain, any questions? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to introduce Code Home Rule Bill 2-2024, and for the bill to be scheduled for a public hearing in the Commissioners' hearing room at 400 High Street in Chestertown, Maryland. I would also like to mention, for the public's benefit, that, and we encourage folks to participate in this process of the public hearing, and they can do so by reviewing this document and coming to the hearing. They can find this document at the county website, which is www.kentcounty.com, comp zone, or go to kentcounty.com and click on the government tab. Then click on the comprehensive rezoning update tab. And we encourage folks to participate.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. We will schedule a public hearing.
Now you would go to the third reading of CHR 6/2023, and for this, you would take a vote on passage of the bill. Mr. Mackey is here. Mr. Mackey, is there anything that you wish to add?
I do not.
Bill, why don't you just give a
Sure.
three sentence explanation of what it is?
All righty. The bill proposes to add a new land use that would allow folks to apply for a special exception on properties in AZD that are too small to be farms and have an existing building so that they can propose a use. The uses are very limited in AZD, and this allows people the option to go through the process, go to the Planning Commission and Board of Appeals, and ask for a use that might not be in the list of uses, but might be appropriate for a building on a small property that cannot be a farm.
And essentially, Mr. Mackey, these buildings, because of the prior use, they're not really suitable for what they have been historically used for.
They were usually unique uses and, you know, a
And-
church building.
And this
Band
allows
shelter.
these properties to be repurposed, and it gives value to the land.
We hope so, yes, sir.
And I might add that you did have a public hearing, and staff did recommend approval, and the Agricultural Advisory Commission and the Planning Commission recommended approval, and there were no comments received during the time that the record was left open following the public hearing.
Very good. Any questions from my colleagues?
No, sir.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt Code Home Rule Bill 6-2023 to amend the zoning code by adding adaptive reuse of existing structures in AZD located on parcels under 20 acres.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
And, Mr. President, we do have a public hearing. Is there any, this is in an economic development matter, not a zoning matter. The Economic Development Director is here. Is there anyone else other than Ms. Williams that's going to be testifying with respect to this bill? Then I'm going to request that we then suspend the reading of the formal procedures for testifying, because I don't think it's necessary, because Williams is the only person that's going to testify. So, Jamie, if you could come forward.
We can control her. Yeah. We won't let her
Most
get
of the
out.
time. So, Ms. Williams, could you please, for the record, state your name and occupation?
Yep, Jamie Williams, Director of Economic and Tourism Development.
Thank
And good evening. This one is pretty simple. The county commissioners put into the Code of Local Laws in 2017 a commerce zone tax credit for businesses that located in priority funding areas. And this amendment to the bill just makes it non-transferable. It's just something that was overlooked when the original bill was adopted. So we're adding that.
Any questions?
No, sir.
From the audience, any questions? There being none, we are, is this for scheduling of, we've had a public?
This is the public
This
hearing.
is the public hearing, so what we would do is on the next legislative day, we
And we would
would
vote
schedule
on
this
it.
for a vote. Correct, that was the public hearing.
Okay, so no one wants to testify. I'll ask one more time. Anybody here that would want to testify for or against this bill, now's the time to do it.
And the record will remain open until Friday.
Yeah,
at
we'll take
close of
written
business.
comments until Friday anyhow.
Right, so,
Then I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second your
I
motion.
mean, I'm entertaining motions.
I'll make a motion to be closed to public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
and I think for housekeeping, we should probably have a motion to close the legislative session.
I'll make a motion to be closed the legislative session and go back into open session.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.
There you go.
We are back in the open session. First appointment is Stephanie Grossman, Kent Museum, Stories of the Chesapeake Heritage Area. Please come forward.
Gosman,
Gossman, excuse
one
me.
S.
Listen, I can assure you that your name is not the first one that I've messed up.
Oh, it's an easy one. I'm Stephanie Gosman, Chairman of Museums of Kent County, and I'm asking the commissioners to support my grant application from Stories of the Chesapeake. This grant would help fund the Discover Turner's Creek event on May 18. The event will recognize Turner's Creek area as a whole, bringing together its history, museums, parks and recs, and the DNR. Last summer, we developed this brochure which highlighted all that Turner's Creek had to offer. I don't know if y'all had an opportunity to look through it. And this event is the next step in celebrating the area. So Sultana Foundations will be providing canoes free of cost to the public. There'll be a booth with information about Captain John Smith and the Native Americans of Kent County. Wayne Gilchrist will be doing guided nature walks, games by Parks and Recs, 4-H activities, a new scavenger hunt for the Kent Museum, and interpretive panels for Charlie's House. The Maryland Department of Agriculture's showcase truck has been reserved, as well as the food truck. The organizers of this event are looking forward to giving the public an opportunity to experience Turner's Creek, its waterways and trails, museums, and rich history. And I hope you will see and support the effort. Thank you. I understand now that the granary will be coming down. I don't know how the timeline is going to affect this event.
When is your event?
May 18.
No, it'll be gone before May 18th. I think.
Perfect.
I believe. At least, Dan, is that, you think we're right in saying that'll be gone by then?
We're working to firm up the definite schedule, but yes, I anticipate it'll be.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
But
that can
it-
give you a deadline then.
Being you brought it up, though, we do want to let you know that there's gonna be something there yet to be determined, but
Okay.
there's gonna be a kiosk telling about the old granary, what it stood for, how old
Sure.
it was, all the things, pictures, hopefully, and we're hoping to do something like that. And
Absolutely.
But not
So-
by May. Not by May.
Oh, no,
I probably won't be done by May,
no.
but anyhow,
But I cannot think of another area in Kent County that has so much going for it as Turner's Creek.
beautiful
And
spot.
it's just, and it's amazing the number of people, not boaters. Boaters seem to know about Turner's Creek. But it's amazing that people don't know the history. And so we're really excited about the
Very
event.
unique area.
Yep. Great, thank you.
Need a motion to do the,
I'll make a motion that we sign the support letter that, and to support the project. And the grant.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mrs. Gossman.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Pete Landon, Director of Office of Emergency Services, and Barry Byers, Chair of the Kent County Police Accountability Board, with the 2023 Police Accountability Board Annual Report.
Good morning,
Welcome.
good afternoon,
Welcome.
Mr. President, Commissioners, Madam Administrator, and Mr. Yeager. I am Pete Landon, the Director of Office of Emergency Services, and with me tonight is Barry Byers, who's the Chairperson of the Kent County Police Accountability Board. One of the things that I'd like to let you know is that the Accountability Act of 2021 and the local resolution in Kent County require the submittal of an annual report of the Accountability Board to you. I presented the report to you last session. Mr. Byers had a work conflict and couldn't make it, so you already physically have the report. I just kind of wanted to let you know before I open it up to Mr. Byers that the members of the Police Accountability Board, including Administrative Charging Committee, have really dedicated their dedication and professionalism and service to our community. In accordance with with the law, the Accountability Board has been discharging their duties since July 1st of 2022. Since its conception, They've held public meetings, completed requisite trainings. They've had committee meetings, and they actually had quarterly meetings with each of the county's 3 law enforcement agencies. And one of the most important things that the Police Accountability Board was able to do was create a singular form and format for anyone to complain regarding police matters of sworn personnel. So it really solidified the ability for citizens, if they had any issues, to do it kind of like a one-stop shop. Each of the departments, as well as the board, had a singular form. Again, they hold their charge well. The 7 members of the Accountability Board, the 5 members of the Administrative Charging Committee show up diligently and ready to undertake any of the conflicts or charges that come before them. I'd open the floor up to Mr. Byers.
Good evening.
Mr. Byers.
Good evening. As Mr. Landon said, probably our biggest goal was the complaint resolution, the complaint form itself. Each agency had a different version. Some had some rules in it that were kind of old that we were able to streamline it. And we worked with the 3 agencies. And that was a big accomplishment. We also have our members going on ride-alongs as they want to with the different agencies to get a feel for what's going on out there. And like I say, we've had our meetings, and fortunately, there's not a whole lot of work to do, which
Well,
is
that's
a good thing.
thing,
Yes,
I would think.
yes.
And I think we're very proud of that taking place in Kent County. We hope we don't have complaints, and when you look around, when you watch television, there's few places like ours around. We are very appreciative of the lifestyle here in Kent County, so it doesn't surprise me that we don't have any complaints. I think we've got good people in charge, and it's just a beautiful place.
The 3 department heads, the chiefs, the sheriff, they've all been very professional dealing with the board. We talked a lot about transparency, and we're all on the same page, and look forward to serving the county a couple more years.
Very good, and we appreciate your service.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, and please tell your board members that how much we appreciate the work they do.
Yes, sir.
I actually had a chance prior to this meeting to look at the annual report and reached out to the sheriff. As you probably know, they are a accredited agency. And as a result of that, I was happy to learn that that was taken into consideration when this report was actually drafted. And I think that was very, very smart on everyone's part to include that. CALEA, which is the agency who does the accreditation for the sheriff's office, there are certain things that they want in their documents as well. So, and according to Sheriff Hickman, all that's been covered. I did see somewhere in the report, and I can't recall directly, that there's a revision that you want to maybe think about at some point to bring to our attention. And maybe some,
We need to appoint 2 civilians to a trial board process that we haven't, we have one that's in the pipeline. Is that,
That's correct.
that's probably the only thing that's kind of pending.
and do we have an administrative judge to handle or to chair the boards if we needed one?
Not at this point. It looks like if we were to get a complaint right now, we'd have to use an administrative law judge.
Yeah, the Office of Administrative Hearings, I know, has submitted to the various counties contract, MOU, or whatever that would provide for that, and we would be responsible for the compensation of the administrative law judge. But some counties have entered that, some counties have made arrangements with other retired judges. So apparently, we have not determined what direction we're going to go in yet. I guess we'd have to go with the Office of Administrative Hearings by default if a complaint came in tomorrow.
At this point, yes, there's been solicitation of of appropriate, the prerequisites, whether you're a retired district or circuit court judge or
Right,
sitting.
you can't sit, don't ask me
Yeah.
how they came up with this ruling, because it makes no sense, but a retired, well, they call retired judges now senior judges. So if a retired/senior judge makes themselves available to cover circuit or district court in the absence of the regular judge, then that judge cannot sit on this, which makes no sense to me, because they allow them to do private mediations and other things. So that severely limits the pool of judges. You either have to have a judge who is completely retired, who said, I'm not sitting anywhere in any court, or you have to get an administrative law judge that's active through the Office of Administrative Hearings. That's
Correct.
my understanding.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Part of the issue, too, a lot of the police accountability board operations are grant-funded, and one of the things that has to be taken in consideration is the grant money available for the cost of a judge to preside over trial board. As you know, they can be more costly than anyone could imagine if they get long and drawn out. Kent County has a great history of not really having them, but that possibility is always there.
Well, I think a lot of that is due to the level of training that our police officers receive and their leadership. And as Ronnie said earlier, we're very thankful that we have that. In my previous position, there was a thought of, because of transparency being part of this effort, to be total transparent, and there was a requirement, I believe, and I may be wrong about that, but I think it was a requirement that at any given time, a person could follow up on the status of their investigation.
100%.
And I think we were working with IT at one time so that a person could log in and see the status of the investigation.
The
Are
witness
we-
advocate.
Are we still
Hasn't
moving in
been-
that direction, or?
It has not been finalized, but yes, that's still, the infrastructure of the board is there. We're working on all the finalizing techniques.
Very good.
Do I have to make a recommendation?
Sorry?
Do I make a recommendation to accept the report as approved so that it can be made
There's a
public?
motion here I can make.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion here. If we have we have no other questions?
No, sir.
Anyone from the audience before these people leave that might have a question? Then I will entertain a motion.
Well, Barry, just thank you for your service.
When I was talking about what a great place this is to live, I heard this someplace when this whole issue of the Police Accountability Board was coming into play. And I know there's a tremendous difference in the size of the area, but I heard it repeated that Prince George's County had 2,400 cases waiting to be heard when this law went into effect. Had 2,400 on the waiting list to be heard. We got none. That's
For the second time in this meeting, I'm going to knock on wood.
and knock on wood. Thank you both.
Thank you.
But
I'd like to make a motion to accept and approve the 2023 Police Accountability Board Annual Report.
Second.
got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, gentlemen,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. It's a very well-written report, too. Very easy to follow. Thank you.
Ms. Rosemary Granilla, Director of Kent County Local Management Board. Got a couple items for us tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My first item for you is a contract with a consulting group called Finley House Global. They've been selected to pilot the Beyond Your Mental Student Behavioral Health Program at the high school. The kids came up with that name, for the record. And so I have some details a little bit about the program, but they are going to be getting it off the ground, and we hope to renew the contract to do full implementation in the next school year.
Very good.
So they're focusing on onboarding a local staff person and doing more training with students and piloting some of the mentoring sessions so that they'll be like able to fine tune it for full launch next year.
Very good.
I'm excited.
Now, do you need something from us?
I need you to approve the contract as presented.
Any questions from my colleagues?
The financial
Breakdown?
breakdown, is
Yeah.
that,
So the vast majority of it is coming from our community partnership agreement with the Governor's Office for Children, and there's a portion to support it from our county general budget.
But it's all accounted for.
Yeah, it was in my budget last year, or this
all
year.
right, I'll make a motion that we accept and sign the Finley House Global contract for Beyond Your Mental.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
And my second item is to appoint 3 new board members to the Kent County Local Management Board. The board's development committee was able to collect these applications and review them. The full board approved them for you all to approve. So the details are in the background information section there. So if you approve, then you can make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommended candidates to the Kent County Local Management Board.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Miller, which is not here. Right.
Oh, it was just here.
That's all right. I mean, he's probably outside there, I guess.
But he's, well, other than the item, which is technically under me, but it's for you, Commissioner Fithian, that's the last open session item, so maybe do your
Well, I'll just
item.
explain that, because my colleagues may not be aware, but I've talked to, I know Albert, I talked to him recently, but there's the Department of Natural Resources, after 50 years, wants to change a line out in front of Rock Hall, the crab pot line, which allows, you got to set your crab pots on the outside of this. And they want to change it. There's longitude and latitude coordinates. Everybody's used to it. They've been working under the same rule, or same line for 50-some years. And there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason as to why they want to change it, except it has a little crook in it, and they were going to straighten it out or something. But the crabbers and the people that work that area seem to think it would cause more commotion because they're not used to it than leaving. There's nothing to be gained by, other than straightening the line. There's nothing, the resources aren't going to be affected. Nobody's going to be affected, except it's going to make it a little more complicated for people to work around it. So I took the liberty of putting a letter together. They asked us if we would send a letter just saying we would basically like to see it stay as it is, because everybody's used to it. There won't be any confusion. Nobody's going to make mistakes and get arrested. So there's a letter to sign in our packet,
Is this the crab pot line down by the river?
this one is right out in front of Rock Hall, from like Hickory, Hunting Field Point to Swan Point, yeah. Right out in front of Rock Hall.
I'll make a motion that we sign and support the letter that has been drafted by Commissioner Fithian.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Jim Miller.
Good evening, my apologies. I thought you'd keep Rosie up here for at least 2 minutes so I could
We're
take a quick
good.
break.
We're fine.
Okay. Have several items for you tonight, three requests for approval to continue our recruitment process. The first one on your agenda should be an associate planner position for planning, housing, and zoning. This is a follow-up to our meeting in December when the commissioners approved for Bill to basically upskill his department and recruit at a higher level. There was two candidates that came forth, the one that we actually talked about in December, who is a former employee, and then another individual who lives out of state and really didn't match up to the first candidate. So we're here to ask for permission for a conditional offer of employment.
I'll make a motion to approve a conditional offer of employment to the recommended candidate.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you. Second on the list is an MEO 1 vacancy. I think you have all the information, the details in front of you. There's a number of candidates who came forth, and the department, I believe the recruiting was Vanet along with Mike Molds, and I don't think Dan was in the recruiting process at that point, but they came forth with a candidate that they're all happy about, and we again make the request to move forward with a conditional offer of employment.
I'll make another motion to approve a conditional offer of employment to the recommended candidate to fill one of the MEO vacancies in the County Roads Division.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you. Third on the list is a utility tech vacancy. This one was, again, there was, I think in the packet, if I can get to the right page for you. We provided, there was an updated job description, and there was 7, 8 applicants. The one that stood out the most, you have that information in front of you. And that person was interviewed by Chris, Ron Rourke, Mike, and Vanet from my office. So again, we ask for permission to move forward with a conditional offer.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a conditional offer of employment to the recommended candidate.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, the ayes have it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Question for you.
Yes, sir.
This position, Dan, maybe you could answer this for me, is the utility tech, is that someone that would be overseeing a sewer water plant, or is this someone that works on pumping stations? What is his real responsibility?
The plant would be the operator, so this would not be a plant position.
Right.
This would be.
Basically, we treat the utility tech as almost an operator in training. That's what some other organizations call this.
I
This is not a
see.
certified plant operator.
Right. I see where his salary was based on, he does have some experience in certain areas.
Yes, sir.
What would, if someone come to you with even more, if someone was a plant operator for, say, 15 or more years, would, I'd be interested, and you don't have to tell me now, I'd be interested in what that person might start out at.
Okay.
You don't have to do it right now.
Okay. I mean, in general, I can tell you that if we had a candidate for a plant operator position, we would take a look if there's other incumbents. And right now, we only have operator 3s. We don't have 1s or 2s. But we would look at that person's relevant experience, external or if there had been any internal, and look at our current range structure and see where the person might land. Certainly would not be at the beginning of the range because, you know, the person would warrant more than that, and that would be how we would be able to recruit and hopefully retain. That would be the general concept.
Right, and if the person were already licensed, it would depend on which licensure they had attained as to whether they would be a 1, 2, or 3.
Could you let me know if I call you tomorrow or something,
Absolutely.
we could discuss it further?
Sure.
Thank
Happy
you.
to do that.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment. Anyone want to address the commissioners? Rob?
Anybody at all? Anybody?
I get no respect, feel like Rodney Dangerfield. Commissioners, my name is Captain Robert Newberry. I'm chairman of Delmarva Fisheries. It's great to be here, commissioners. First of all, I'd like to thank Commissioner Fithian for the letter that went into the Kent News about the work that he is doing with the Shell and Substrate Task Force appointed by the governor. I think some of those things needed to be straightened out a little bit, and we kind of worked together on that letter, and they asked me, and I just pointed them to Ronnie. So thank you very much to bringing it to the public's eyes exactly what's going on there. A couple of things I want to address. Thank you very much for doing that with the crab pot line, because that's been quite contentious. We thought we had it in bed last year under the other administration, and all of a sudden it raised its head again. But I think we worked through it. The meeting went pretty well. A couple of issues I wanted to talk about and to see if the commissioners would possibly do a letter. I've talked to them in Queen Anne's. I got to go down there next Tuesday. A lot of people don't know it, but the city of Baltimore released 14.5 million gallons of raw sewage into Northern Bay about 2 weeks ago. Since that, it's been about another 5 to 10 million gallons have gone into the bay. And I just think it's a horrendous thing, because if Kent County did 1,000 gallons or 1,500 gallons, it'd be on the front page of the paper, and people would probably be getting ready to go off in handcuffs. But what concerns me most about Kent County is that when it comes out of the Patapsco River or comes out of the back river, northwest wind takes it where to? Right to Kent County. So I would think that maybe the commissioners might, and I can help with this. I've got the data and all the information from over to the plant at Baltimore, what happened. But I mean, just to kind of wake some people up about it, because it's, there's guys out there fishing right now, and there's guys out there crabbing in the summer and everything. So I think it's, could pose a problem down the road. And just to give you the perspective of it, that one spill they did in 24 hours, if you took 9,340 septic trucks that hold 1,500 gallons, put them on the Bay Bridge and let them drain for 24 hours, that's what would have happened. Almost 10,000 trucks. That's how many gallons, 14.5 million. And that's just what they reported. So it could be more. It could, more than likely, it could be more.
I remember what they done to our neighboring town of Centerville when they had a little issue there. They shut things down. They wouldn't allow any other building take place until they had redesigned a new sewage treatment facility that could handle. So
It took 2 years.
yeah,
2
it
years.
was all over the news and everything. So, but
Right. And another thing, and this would fall, I guess, with economic development and tourism in the county, the ASMSC, which is the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission, put through a motion 2 weeks ago, and it is now in Maryland's law, that everybody in the bay, the charter boats used to be able to catch 2 fish. Now they're 1 fish. That's all they can catch. And we represent. Per person. So what that basically boils down to is they have got now, before they even get on the boat, they've got a 68% decrease in their ability and finances. Because you got 50% if you go to 1 fish, and then we've got the possible closure of the trophy season coming up between the 1st and 15th of May. And the 3 weeks now they're talking about is going to be off in the month of June. Specifically, the town of Rock Hall, they're going to get clobbered because, they rely a lot in the summer, not only of regular tourists coming in, but the Amish come in a lot during the month of August. They're not going to come down and spend big money to catch 1 fish per person. And a lot of the charter boat people have expressed concerns with this. Plus also, they also put a 7% reduction on the commercial gill netters and the commercial fishermen for striped bass, which once again, it's just another, chink in the armor coming after the people, good working people of the Chesapeake Bay. And just wanted to make you aware of that, but it's not going to go unanswered. We are going to be exploring legal ends against the ASMSC, and that'll all come out in about another week. But we're just not going to take this anymore. I mean, I don't know how somebody that, one boy even testified at the ASMSC hearing and said, I just got married last year. We've got a newborn child. I'm putting a new motor in the boat. How am I going to be able to take people out for $800 for a half or a day trip and charge them and only let them catch one fish? So now here's the new problem. They're all saying, well, we'll catch the one fish and then we'll sit there and catch and release all day long. And what does that do? That increases the mortality, exactly what these rules and regulations are putting in or trying to stop. So if someone's paying $600 or $700 or $800 for a half or a full day trip, they have the right to sit out there and catch and release all day long. But when we had the two fish, that was fine. They go do something else.
Plus, there's a slot size.
Oh, it's, yeah, 19 to 24 inches, which is, you take a 19-inch fish, put a beer can on his tail, that's how big he is. So, I mean, I guess someone's going to come up with a new lure, a new bait that says if you're between 19 and 24, bite this. But it's just not going to happen. I mean, we're outnumbered so bad because you have 377 charter boats that are absolutely 100% accountable through electronic reporting. They're not going to do it anymore. They're not going to electronic report anymore. So once again, by the department adopting this bill and letting it go through, they're creating more of a problem that was there. And it's ludicrous to see this done to the industry. I mean, these are good, hardworking people, and everybody enjoys to go rock fishing, but you know, the problem is 90% of the issue comes from the recreational side, not the charter boats and not the commercial. The commercial side only harvests 10%. But so really they should only get a 1.4% reduction, but the ASMSC, you know, we got groups in Massachusetts and Maine telling us what to do here in Maryland. And that's one of the major issues we have, because even in their bylaws, it says they can't do that. So we're just being picked on again. I would hope that the department would go out of compliance. That's the way to go. But I don't see that happening. I don't see the department, you know, the charter boats went over and asked, is there any relief, any help you can give us? Can you give us a year to do this? And they just said, nope. No answer, no help, no anything. So it's going to be detrimental. A lot of guys have even put stuff, one guy in Rock Hall said, I guess, well, I'm going to go back welding. I won't be able to fish anymore, because I'd say 75% of his clients are Amish. And they're going to go to, they're going to go to New Jersey where they can catch a bigger fish, or they're going to go to Ocean City where they can go out on a headboat and catch 15, black sea bass, or they're going to go to Pennsylvania and catch 10 walleye up in Lake Erie. They like to have a lot of fish. And, if you have 10 people, 10 fish for a full day trip is not much. But they say go catch blue catfish. Well, okay, so the catfish are going to be up like Susquehanna there at the flats. That's a little bit of a ride from Rock Hall in a charter boat. So, I just want to let you know these are the things that are happening. I would like to see the economic development and tourism get behind this, because we had a meeting Sunday. Tourism had spent the money to go up to the outdoor show in Harrisburg. And I looked at this girl and I was talking to her about the one fish, and she went, what? I said, yeah, you're going to have to sell one fish to these. I can't sell one fish. These people have been catching two fish all these years. And, talk to some people who are up at the show right now, and people are walking away. When's your season start? We don't know. DNR, it's either the 1st or the 15th. They still don't know until this AELR hearing. There was a disaster last Friday. They're going to reschedule it again. But they don't know what the season is. We know that there's a one fish limit. We don't know if we're going to get 3 weeks off in August or not. It's horrendous. I mean, to have a business, in the state of Maryland that generates that much money with the seafood industry, and nobody can tell you what you're supposed to do. And they put this regulation on them. So we're going to fight it down the line, and, we hope that all the counties will be behind us in what we're doing, so.
Thank you for the information.
Yeah. And I think that's about all I've got. I didn't see any papers you raised, so we're good. Okay.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And yes, I'm getting surgery in 2 weeks, get my hip replaced, so I won't be limping anymore.
We hope not. We hope it works.
Huh?
Hope it goes smoothly.
Yeah,
So, Rob,
I bet you do.
Rob,
Yes.
the sewage spill on the other side of the bay,
Right.
I'm assuming there was a malfunction, an accident, or?
No, it was when we had those major rainstorms and Baltimore was flooding. What they do is they have those big holding ponds over there. They're antiquated. They saw all this water coming, so they open the valve and empty them so they can take the overflow.
been just as easy to let the overflow go overboard and then it would.
Well, I mean, you know, then you'd have a dike break and then you'd have a bigger spill, but, you know, they're only reporting what they get, but then there's that group over there, was it called Blue Water or whatever it is, they said it's more around 20 million, but they can't prove it because, you know, their track record isn't too good over there anyway, so. You know, it's just a concern. I mean, it's, you know, when all this stuff comes and the water gets warmer, you're gonna see major algae blooms. I mean, you know, when I was a kid, you didn't have to worry about Vibrio and having your flesh eaten alive and everything else. You could walk anywhere in the bay, but anymore, you know, then they come out with this, what is it, the fishing requirement for consumption, that 8 ounces per month is what they say you should only consume from striped bass in the northern bay. But you'd have to eat like 5,000 pounds of it, but, you know, they're just going with the low side. So that's, you know, that's another harm too. So it's just, you know, one thing after another, and they don't want to solve the problem, they just want to regulate us to keep us from doing it. They don't want to go clean up Baltimore. So hopefully the governor will do something, but I doubt it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to everybody's attention. Anyone else would like to address the commissioners? Then I know we have some closed sessions, so I need, we'll go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session under the Annotated Code of Maryland, General Provisions, Article 3-305, little b, 1, to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluations of appointees, employees, or officials under whom the public body has jurisdiction, or any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice, and to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. 4 matters will be taken up for discussion this evening. The first one is a hiring recommendation. The reason why we are closing is so that we can discuss the qualifications of a specific individual because they should be safeguarded. Matter number 2 is the personnel matter. Matter number 3 is the personnel, legal advice, and pending or potential litigation. And matter number 4 is personnel, legal advice, and pending or potential litigation.
Before we call for a second, I just wanted to say, when you talk about the filing a case against this ASMFC, we appreciate you keeping us updated on as it
Pretty sure when we
as
do
it
this,
proceeds.
it's gonna
Yes.
be newsworthy.
Motion and
Second.
got a second?
Yes.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it.
Ronnie, that letter that you're putting together